Hi, Erin. How are you? I'm Jinx. I'm good. How are you? No, we'll say like Jinx, you owe me a Coke. Or something. And it says mine is hot, yours isn't.
What about now? Can you hear me now? Oh, you guys missed an amazing conversation around what Jinx is. So, Jinx in Canada, you can't speak until someone says your name, I think, 3 times, which is kind of stupid.
That's
So, you just
cruel.
owe the person a Coke?
Yeah. But I mean, it's like it's one of those throwaway things you say. I don't know how many Cokes I've given.
Oh, right. So Coke does not rely on jinxing for like their revenue. This is you don't actually pay for the Coke.
No, I do not. I wonder if like Instagram is listening to me and like if I say that, like Coke will be like, here's a Coke for your friend Erin. Like, sure, Coke with Erin.
Uh, 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 really, Penny? Maybe it's like a French Canadian thing. I remember as a kid, if someone said jinx, you were not allowed to speak. This actually works much better on the stream because if I jinx you, I could just mute you. And then, this actually works. I'm not going to do that. Uh, uh, so, welcome to our stream about jinx. This is what we're going to cover. We're going to cover the cultural differences of jinx throughout. No, no. Yeah, we're going to design some bases, Victoria. Last week was hard. Last week was something.
Last week was my favorite, actually. I love doing stuff like that. Like it helps people. To me, that we got to a really helpful solution in a really short amount of time.
Yeah, I think so too. I think so too. So this week we've got Lisa, who was kind enough and truly kind enough to share her base with us. And I'm going to provide some terrible context here, in that I am not Lisa. I do not run her business, and all I know of her business is the questions she's gracefully shared with us, and her base. So Lisa is in the chat, I think. So she runs an aerial survey equipment company marketplace. So these types of businesses that like my whole career has been like paper pushing, right? So I've never actually like had to deliver something, right? Like a piece of furniture or like it's always been digital. So Lisa sources and sells like small, large drones for multiple thousands of dollars, is my understanding.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
uh,
I guess
yeah.
that is
So,
aerial survey is no longer like a dude in a propeller plane like, looking over
no,
the
yeah, like I saw some sheep. There are 8 sheep on your. No. This is like these are, from my understanding, are like multi-million-dollar, you know, airplanes with holes in them. Okay, so not drones, but airplanes with holes in them, and that I guess important work is happening. We can't have people go and see what that work is, so we have equipment that does it for us. And obviously, there are not a lot of vertical SaaS tools for marketplaces around aerial equipment to create maps. Awesome. Um, I imagine when people say software eats the world, it hasn't gotten to that part of the world just yet. But luckily, we have Airtable, which will allow us to build this custom tool for Lisa, and really according to her specifications. And so, Lisa, thanks for joining us in the chat. I'm looking at the chat face. So, Victoria, any kind of food for thought here before we jump in? Are you on mute? You're on mute. You got to put $1 in the mute
I
jar.
am on mute. Sorry. Okay. Oh, wait, I have to put $1 in the meat chart. Yeah. Amateur hour over here. Um, I I'm really excited. I just feel like we'll be tracking physical things. Like that's what and like that's where to me Airtable gets super fun is when like what Aaron you just said about we're no longer tracking like content and like ephemeral like things that live in digital space, but really like, you know, this sits in warehouse B or like where this is an order that is now going to my customer. Those are my favorite things to look at.
Awesome. Jigsaw, let's go. Thanks, Ethan. Good one. Okay, yeah, let's jump in. So I'm going to share my screen here with you. Actually, wait. One thing at a time. That's no good. There we go. So folks should see the browser. I'm still learning how to do this. And then now folks should both see my browser and see Victor. You guys get a good glimpse of how this happens behind the scenes, and it is very janky. There we go. All right. So let's talk about this base. So my understanding of how this base is structured, and luckily Lisa's here helping us out. We've got items for sale, right? So these
I love how
are,
clear these tables are named. That's my first exciting thing about this space.
I like, there's description. So you
Oh yeah,
know when
perfect.
there's a description, it's real, right? You know it's someone who cares about making sure that their bases are correctly structured. So what I think we should do is like do a quick overview. Then we're going to jump into the base, try to find some improvements or some things. And I know that Lisa has some like very specific questions around currency management, figuring out how to manage buyers and sellers. Oh, that's awesome. So see,
Nice. Okay. All
um,
come full circle.
I don't follow my own advice. If you could see my Airtable bases, there are very little descriptions in it. And then so we'll kind of go through questions that Lisa has, and more generally, I think it's always been a hope of mine that we can do like an open Q&A stream. So this is kind of a test of how we could do that. Awesome. So yeah, you can get the base exclamation mark base. You can get a copy, and before we go, you can also copy the end part. This will allow you to copy it into your base. So we've got items for sale. Looking at this, good structure. I like it. We've got item code brand, which is a callback to last week's model. Again, another callback to last week. Contact name, which, if I'm understanding, this is linked to contacts. Okay, so this might be people who are interested in that, or who provided that. We're not sure with contact name, but let's keep going through it. Item location. It's planes, so maybe they could, they can move, but we've got item location as a single select. Asking price. I imagine asking price. I imagine that is the person submitting price to advertise. So this is the price that they're going to show publicly. What the seller's preferred currency, right? Okay, so we're going to get into some like deep currency here. How many they have, quantity, which is interesting, right? So this might have multiple fee to seller. Okay, got it. So this is how much the seller wants. This is what they're going to provide. I guess the difference between these two are commission. We've got leads as a single select coming from link to deals. That's interesting. Okay, so deals looks like a junction table between items and contacts, or maybe not a junction table, but kind of like that intersection to know which item is which with contact. Leads to, which looks like old linked records. I don't know if whenever I see like a 2, Victoria, I think of like someone who created linked records and then deleted them.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts so far on this base? Like anything jumps to you? I'm going to delete these.
What jumps to me is it's very well structured. I'm really excited about that. And
Awesome.
yeah, I think that we're in a good place. I think that there are some things that can be more standardized, but so
Yeah.
far, looking great.
Okay, awesome. So deals. These, okay, so let me actually go into deal list. I think that's more, right? So we have the buyer, which comes from contacts. We have the product, right? So what this buyer wants to buy this product. That's
Got it.
awesome. It's different stages. That's awesome.
Perfect.
And then asking price, which is a lookup. So how much the seller wants,
For that one
right?
product.
Yeah.
So it looks like, there's one where there's 2 products, and now we're getting 2 different asking price for on line 9.
Yeah. So you're right. So you have this, so deals so you do have a 2 items deal. You can have multiple deals for a single item, but you couldn't have multiple closed won deals for the same item, right? So you can only close on one item with
Oh,
one
okay.
contact. Does that make sense?
No, it's a deal. Some could be someone buying multiple things.
Oh, but you wouldn't have the same item in two deals, right? That's what I'm understanding. Okay, so I see what you're saying. So this Ollie Buy It is buying has two different deals for different products. So here he's buying two,
Mm-hmm.
and here he's buying another product. But there's actually overlap between. No, it's all different products. Okay, good, good, good. So you can buy. It's like a basket. This is a basket. You can buy multiple things at once. So this creates an issue here for asking price, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not a total, it's an array.
And then we've got two different currencies is the same way. Cool.
Okay. We're seeing some improvements.
Okay. And then also I'm seeing, is it depending on the product, what the currency will be, or is it depending on the customer what the currency will be?
I think it's both. It could be both. So I think that might be a variable. So what I'm seeing from items for sale, that's a great question. I would not have thought of that. So I think there's a seller preferred currency,
Okay. Got it.
and then there's probably a currency of the deal, right?
Oh,
Which could be different.
okay.
Thinking back to my finance days here. See, right? So like if there's the seller region and the buyer's region are different, you might have a mismatch in currency between the item for sale on the seller side and the buyer on the buyer side,
Mm-hmm.
which could impact commission and things like that. But we'll get into that. Model, contact. Okay, okay. We've got more here. We've got auto number, deal number, sold price. Let me actually group this by status or stage. Yeah, just to get a sense of like, okay. So sold price. So when, okay. And I imagine there must be a currency of settlement. Fee to seller, revenue. There's a difference between the two, right? Okay, got it. Whoops. Oh, I'm moving too much. I'm sorry, folks. Let me clean this up. Let's collapse this. We're saying, okay, fee to seller, the sold, the difference between the two is the revenue, whether it's paid or not. Sales lead, who came, I imagine who is the person who referred this deal, right? Maybe they get a commission as well.
Mm-hmm.
Some books. Let me delete the field 20 is never something you want to see. Oh, there was a lookup. I broke a lookup. Okay,
Did you?
let's keep it. Yeah, because
before. Oh, okay.
so this is a lookup from field 20, getting contact. Sales rep is a single select. So a few things we can improve here. Okay, so what I'm seeing, I'm putting your base on trial here, which is totally fine. My base still has like field 62. And I'm sure Victoria, a bunch of yours do as well sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay, so actually this is pretty good. So there's a few things we can improve. I think around like figuring out the deal value, because why, right? So this is a lookup for each item, but then when you get into this is weird, right? So if you're selling two items, you want that to be a number, right? So there's a little bit of some issues, I think, here and there, but otherwise a really good base. Let's go down to contacts. Title, boss. I love it. I love the boss, Lyndon York. I love it. Okay, street address, some very basic information. Region, items for sale. Okay, we saw that from your items for sale too. Let's go ahead and delete that. Leads. So I think what happens is you could sell products and buy products. So the same contact can be both. So this one's selling the Titan, but then is a lead or is a potential buyer for these three other products. And this is a lead, a link to deals.
No, these are leads. What? Okay.
Yeah, so they at the item level, they have things for sale,
Yes.
right? So their source linked to items for sale.
Yeah.
Right? So this one goes into items for sale. So at the item level, you have the person responsible for providing that item. And then leads at the deal level. So this is a little weird, right? When I
Okay,
think about it. Say that again?
just the naming was throwing me off, but I get it now.
Right. So this is kind of like the person, it's a buyer for a set of items. Lisa's just saying yes in the chat, so that's great.
Okay.
Okay, item for sale. Deals, a linked record to deals. That's interesting. Where is that? This is linking to deals. We already have that here. So let's go ahead and delete this one, right? We have one. I don't see this filled out anywhere. So welcome to Automate All the Things, where I clean up your base. Okay. So what's interesting? Okay, this is actually one thing that's like they have a sales rep, right? So this is a person bringing in deals, right, or responsible for the deals, which I imagine has like a commission concept and things like that. So Lisa, let us know in the chat what is the connection between sales rep and deals. Delete all the empty fields. Yeah. Okay, and so this is actually really interesting. So Lisa started, I think, with this concept that every single contact should be its separate table. And Victoria, tell me why that is not the right way to build the base.
Yeah. If you've watched the stream before, but if you're new, this is great information. I'm a huge proponent of having a people table because what we're talking about is different. What we're trying to suss out here is what are the different objects or pieces that we're tracking, and what are the characteristics of that object. And if things have similar characteristics, but there might be one other feature that defines them as different, that's when we want to put them in the same table. So people are a great example of this. And we find this in a lot of places where you'll have one for client, you'll have one for internal contact, you might have one for vendor. Really what you want is a table full of people, because all people have a first name, a last name, a phone number, an email address, an address, or anything like that, where you have contact information where you might want to contact them. So there's no sense in having 3 different tables that all have address fields, that have phone number fields, or something like that. Instead, what would be more applicable here is to define what type of contact that person is. So then you can create a new field that says, well, this is a sales rep and this is a prospective buyer. And as Aaron said, that person might be filling 2 roles. You can still, tag them as such if it needs to be a multi-select versus a single select.
Okay, so what I'm hearing from you is that you're a proponent of sales rep is a contact. And I think the natural thing is like, okay, well, what happens if my sales rep has, a commission and my contact doesn't? What do I do in that situation? Right? So let's give, for example, let's do what you just said, right? So I go insert left and I do, type. And then I have, a single select. And then I say, okay, well, this person is, a contact, right? Mm-hmm. So potentially like a buyer or a seller. And then I have a sales rep. And let's say, I have switched careers and I have found a great niche outside of no-code automation, which is selling aerial equipment. Who would have thunk, right? And I have a commission, right? And I am very, I guess if you're good, do you get a high commission? I guess so. Right, I get 20, 30%, 40%. I'm showing everyone how little I know about this. 40%. 40%. There we go. Okay, but but everyone else doesn't have one. How do you think about this? Because I think this is very intimidating to people. Of like, well, how do I think about that?
So what makes sense for a sales rep to have a commission, but not a buyer, right? And so what you could do is, one, there are some views where it's like the contact view, or a view where like everything is the same across. So so I kind of like just jumped into a concept, whereas then you want to start thinking about what views do you need to kind of differentiate like the information you want to see for someone. So if you just want to see contact information for everybody, all those things are the same across whatever type of
Right,
contact
right,
it is. And so that could be like your overview view, and maybe you group it by type. But if you
right,
wanted a
right,
more detailed salesperson view, or if you wanted to see more details about a salesperson, I would say make a sales rep view and then
right,
have
right,
fields
right.
very specific to that sales rep. But if there's a lot of overlap between two objects, maybe there's like one commission, some things you can do. We use an emoji key sometimes, and we have a lot of different teams working in
Right.
one base. And so we say, anything with this emoji is for the sales team, whereas anything with a painter emoji is for the creative team.
What is a good emoji for a sales team? Money? What it? I'm like all
Yeah,
stereotypes about
yeah,
sales.
the money
Money,
bag, the money
the money
bag.
bag, the flying money. Does that feel right? Uh, um, yeah. So we just added emoji. So I just used the Apple shortcut, which is Mac Control Space. And now,
Control
okay,
command space.
yeah, Control Command. Yeah, there you go. And so I'm gonna filter down to where type is sales rep. Okay. And apparently they only make 10%, which again tells you how much I know about sales. Okay, so essentially we don't need a sales rep table
No.
because what you're gonna say is like, okay, well, if I go to sales rep, there's probably a lot of information that I don't care about, right? Like let me hide all, and what I care about is maybe contact name, commission, and then deals, right? So in this case, leads links to deals, but probably not in the way that we want, right? So when I'm thinking of the structure, right, I want to say the sales rep for this deal is this contact, and once
Mm-hmm.
it's sold, here's their commission for that specific sale.
So
But I
instead of,
can't, yeah, I can't put it like here as buyer because that is what,
there
right?
is a
So
lead.
this is going to the contact level, which is the buyer,
Hmm. And then
right?
if you go over to the right on this table, there's a sales lead. But it's
A single select.
yes. Hmm.
Okay. So what we're saying is that we can turn this single select into a linked record.
Yes.
Do
Uh,
we?
Not the way it is right now. You would want to make
Yeah.
it. What I love about Airtable and the flexibility and why people like it as like a rapid prototyping tool is Airtable lets you change things on the fly, but just like
Right.
certain things have to be right. So right now we have Pat, Lyndon, Chris, and Lisa. But in our contacts, their names are, what are their names in contacts? It's their full names.
Yeah, it's gonna create new records, right? So that's what we want to avoid. So, but in this case, they're all Pat. So Pat's like a pro
Okay.
here. So let's
Yeah.
actually put Pat as
So
like
let's
a
get Pat's
salesperson.
real name.
Let's go sales rep. He gets 20%. He's good at what he does. He doesn't.
I think is it Patrick McConnell, Lisa, who's a sales rep? Because we might be able to just change him.
Oh, okay. Yep,
Yeah,
he is. Okay, sales rep. So that the contact here is this primary key, right? So we need to copy paste this.
exactly.
So
So
just so
now,
I did that quickly. I did that quickly. So what will happen if we turned a single select into a linked record field? It would try to say like, okay, well, where is Pat in this table so I can associate the right deal to Pat? Our issue here is that Pat in the primary key is not Pat. It's Patrick McConnell, Clear Skies Geomatics. Now, I do think a second issue that we're going to run into is that little comma, if I'm not mistaken. But let's do it. Let's do it.
let's try. Let's
Let's
try.
try. Okay, so what we're saying is like, let's turn Pat into
Yeah,
this, right? And
exactly.
now we're going to say, customize field type. Let's delete these other options because they're not there. And we're saying this is now a linked to our
Correct.
contacts table.
And then what you can do to maybe stave off that ding. Okay, go back and undo. Just Control Z.
Undo.
Yeah, Control Z.
Undo. Yeah, I'm
Try
done.
going to sales lead and customizing the field type back to a linked record, and then clicking that don't allow multiple links, linking to multiple records, and see what
Right.
happens
Okay, right. That might interpret the comma.
differently. Yeah.
Ooh, I
Boom.
think boom.
Yes.
It's too early for confetti, but we did it. Right?
Yeah. So what
Uh,
happened was Um, it's kind of trying to, you have to think like a computer and you have to think like Airtable. So with linked records, you can choose to link multiple records or you can only choose to link one record. And as we talked last time, it's about that helps with junction tables.
Right.
Uh, One thing is if Airtable says, okay, fine, I'm not allowing multiple records in this linked record view, then you can get away with having commas in your linked records.
Right. Right. Right.
Usually, when you allow multiple records, commas are your separator, and it'll separate it into two different linked records instead of one. So we just kind of thought through what a computer would do and say, okay, if I was a computer and I had this toggled off, then I'd probably infer it as this. So
Right. Right. So if we had it toggled off, it would say like, okay, Benoit Bayer is number one, French company is number two, right? And it would create all of these records, splitting them at the comma level. This is what you get for coming to this stream. This like super niche knowledge, right? This like I know how commas are interpreted differently, whether that toggle is on or off in Airtable. And I learned that on Automate All the Things. Some quality information.
yeah. 4 years. You deal with this for 4 years. You know the ins and outs of this product.
Oh my god, and it's weird because I knew it was coming, right? So we both probably like we were like, oh yeah, that comma is going to be a pain, right? You just got this like you feel it in your bones what's going to happen with this base when you're looking at it. Okay, so now we have sales lead, right? I think what we can do is like we can delete prospective buyers, we can delete sales rep. So we recreated this, right? Pat McConnell, who is the the salesperson. I love deleting tables. I gotta say, it's a good feeling.
Did I tell you I had to delete 50 fields, or I think it was either 75 or 50 fields in this data migration that I was doing by hand because there's no way to bulk automate it.
I think you should bring that to the product team.
I will let them know.
It's good that we share a Slack. And again, that's one of those niche things. Like no one has to delete 50 fields except us.
Yeah,
right? But you get to a point where you have to.
Okay,
invoicing.
Oh, that's a perspective.
Say that again.
Was perspective leasing also going to be a?
Oh, I just assumed that it was empty, so we can delete it.
Maybe, I don't know.
Okay.
Lisa, what do you think? Also, Aaron went into the base trash, which did not always exist, to restore the table. So if you click this little trash icon, you can restore anything within 7 days. Okay, haven't figured out that table yet. Okay.
Okay, cool. Okay, so invoicing we'll talk about later. So I think there's some things we can do here.
Wait, before we do that, Lisa, is it a leasing? You're trying to track leasing deals or like perspective deals? Oh, perf. Okay, that's a good one. So we don't need another table. We can kind of list in deals. We can kind of go through that through the status. So in your phase, you've got qualifying. We can even have before qualifying just prospects. And instead of needing a whole other table, we can do that.
Okay, so deleting this one back into base trash. Invoicing, okay. I want to talk about.
It's just a different table.
Oh, okay.
Cells. That's good to know. Okay.
Putting it back in. All right, we'll talk about invoicing in a bit. I do want to work on the deals table.
Okay.
I don't know about you. I feel like there's some things we can do here. And then we're gonna do like a speed. We can delete these two.
Oh my god, Airtable speed runs. If that could be like a Twitch like category. Ugh.
Yeah. No. I mean, if we can get to a point where people just send me bases and we review them like no context base, and we just try to like improve their structure. You know, like 12 to 5. Come watch someone improve bases. You know, and it would just be me and Victoria just smashing through bases. It would be awesome.
Competitively, I would like you to.
And it would be like an audience of 2 people, just you and I. You know, okay. There are people watching. Let's continue. So, okay, we've got our deal. We've got the products that they're buying. So I'm gonna call this products, right?
Yes.
Stage. So this is the first problem that I see, right? So this feels like it should be a total.
You are almost there, Lisa. So I've asked the product team why the lookup and the roll up field aren't the same field. But so what you need is a lookup field. Just brings everything together in one array so you can see all of the different prices. And it's really helpful for names, for just kind of like seeing all of that together. What you love is for it to like just be a sum of everything all together, all your items together. And that's where
Right.
a roll up field comes into play. Where
Right.
lookup surfaces what's in that other field. Roll ups allow you to do calculations
Right.
on that information.
Yeah. I think that's perfect. How I like to think of roll-ups is it's first a lookup. So it goes and gets that information. And then it says, what do you want me to do with this information? Those things that you want to do is maybe get the max, get the minimum, get the average, or in this case, get the sum. So what we're going to do here is we're going to turn this into a roll-up field.
Yes.
We're going to go into products.
Very similar to a lookup field.
And then we're going to go and get asking price. And so far it's a lookup, right? And now in this formula, it's saying like, okay, what do you want me to do with this information? And we're just going to go ahead and do sum of values. So values is saying, whoa.
Yes, do sum of values.
What did I do wrong? What would
You
you
didn't do
do?
anything wrong. You didn't do anything wrong. Press C. You're good.
Okay,
Yeah.
there we go.
You have the sum. The question that I had was, now that I saw that asking price, is there a different closing price? And if there's a different closing price, do you want to capture the closing price on the whole deal or the closing price on the different models?
Ooh. So what you're saying is that we can't take the raw difference.
There's the sold price. Yep.
But yeah, but that's what we know that, right? And so the difference
No, we
between
have the asking price and the sold price, but maybe they sold a 30% discount on that first product and the full price for the second product.
oh shit. Oh, I know where you're going with this. You're are you going where I think I'm going? I think
Where
okay.
we always end up on the other side of the
Folks,
rainbow.
what is Victoria going to propose here? Like just I wish like I don't want to do a poll because I think everyone knows the answer here. It's Victoria's favorite feature. So what you're saying, Victoria, if I hear you right, is that for a deal, for an item, we may want to provide a different asking price. But why would that matter?
Why would it matter?
Yeah, like tell me a little bit why you want to push us towards a junction table.
Well, because it's just my natural state of being. But, but what it is maybe you want to know like what products are performing well and what products you have to discount in order to move. And so if you have 3 products in the deal, but one of them you sold at a deep discount, you like what's going to happen is the total deal price is going not going to reflect like your stronger products versus your weaker ones. And so, but you know, if you're giving the discount on the whole deal, that's a different
Right.
deal.
Okay. Okay. Well, in that case, we need a junction counter. We do need a junction.
We really do. We really do.
I actually think so. Let me ask you this, or Lisa, I'm asking you this question, right? Do you actually have? So when I think of asking price, this is something coming from, your item for sale, right? Like you can't if someone's telling you, hey, sell this for at least 200,000. I don't think you can be like, oh, I'll sell it for 180 because that person's like, well, I gave it to you for 200, right? So I think Lisa in this kind of marketplace kind of asking price is the price the seller wants, right? So you can't discount it below that. Am I saying that right? Right. So maybe we don't need a junction table in
Right
this
to
case.
advertise. Love that.
Okay. So you do discount the
For
asking
less
price.
or more. Ooh, sometimes they get upside.
Okay. So what you're saying is that why shouldn't that just live in? So what I say, it's like the discount or addition you did for that specific deal. Why shouldn't that live in the items for sale table?
Oh. Oh, okay. So I didn't realize it's one and done, right? I didn't realize that. I thought it was like this is kind of like in our inventory and we can have 10 sales of this one aircraft.
No, I
And
think it's like a unique aircraft, right? So these it's
oh,
more of like a
well,
marketplace style.
then that's fine. Then
So
we
in
don't
this
need.
case, I think we can do it at the end. Let's do it at the end, right?
We don't have to. I don't want to.
Uh,
I recant all my previous statements.
okay. No junction table today yet.
Yeah.
Not yet. Okay. So
Aaron, can you show
ask.
people how to put commas in there?
Oh, how? Oh,
Turn it into a currency field.
oh,
So one thing, I mean, this is a sold price, so we want it in a currency field,
right.
although we don't because there's some that's a euro and some that's a USD. So what you can do, Airtable annoys me that it doesn't have commas. You can actually change the currency field to not have a symbol in it. So if
Oh,
we just,
just empty. Okay.
but you still get to keep your commas.
Oh, nice. I like that. Okay, let's. I don't think they care about pennies at the prices
Yeah.
I'm seeing here. Okay, so the next thing was that let's talk about discrepancy between buyer and seller currency, and I think this is where we're gonna have fun on this trip. Not that we haven't been having fun so far. It's been a
Yeah.
joy, but I think this is where we have a little bit more fun, where we think about like, okay, you might have a discrepancy in both buyer and seller currency, but you might also have like daily updates of currency, right? So like you want to know what is the latest, euro versus USD difference, so that you can expect what is your kind of margin on this deal. And then not only that, but you have to like, hard code it. So as someone who's worked with currencies, unfortunately, let's kind of go down that path, right? So until the day you sell, currency is like a live thing and a variable you need to think about. The day
Mhm.
you sell, it's like we've made this much between these two kind of items, and so you can kind of put it into your currency. Let's do that first part, and then we could talk about how we would do the second part as an example. Okay, does that make sense? Victoria, are
Yes.
you excited?
I am.
I know I'm maybe you weren't expecting this currency thing. Maybe I'm bringing you to this, but I'm excited about it. Okay, so let's imagine this is an example. So let's put this to 850,000
Yeah.
or 750,000 euros. That's the buying currency, and then we have
Okay.
as the selling currency. Oh, these are both Europe.
Okay.
Sorry,
One thing we need
buyers.
to change about currency is it needs to, you should, I would love to see it as an array unique roll up instead of a lookup. Because if you go to the top, there's two USDs next to each other. And
Oh, right,
when
right.
we don't have to worry about that, it should just be one USD.
Okay, so just so what we're saying is that those items in the basket, we're gonna assume for now that they are one currency, right? So the buyer is gonna get just one currency instead of having a lookup for both items of the same currency. We're gonna use a roll up. This is actually another kind of like niche, not niche, but a good to know tip. So products, we're gonna roll up the currency, seller preferred currency, right? And we're gonna do array unique of the values, which is gonna say, okay, what are the unique attributes of this array? And if both are USD, it's just gonna return USD,
Perfect.
right?
Exactly.
Okay. So then, okay, this is a good example. Let's do the same thing for seller's region. This should also be a roll up of the same thing. It's saying North America twice, right? So products, and we're gonna go into seller's region, and we're gonna array unique. Okay. And now here's an example where the buyer's region and the seller's region are different. So
Yeah.
this,
And it's much easier to see now.
yeah. So let's say this is 250, right? So we get some profit here. And what we're saying is that we have a live currency. So this is the latest kind of currency. And this is going to like kind of always update, right? So how would you think about this? Like I have a few ways I would think about this, maybe with like scripting or automation, right? How would you think about getting the like current rate of these two, maybe like for a 24-hour period,
Yeah.
right? Maybe we start manual and then how do we automate it? How about that?
Okay. So I am not really good with currencies. I don't really understand them that well.
Okay.
I know like a formula you would need the exchange rate times the sold price is the formula you need. So
Yeah.
then you need a field for exchange rate for sure.
Right. Okay. So let's do that first, right?
All right.
So
So would you need a field for current sold exchange rate and buyer exchange rate?
you
Or would
would, yeah. So you want to essentially how you think about this is like we're going to assume that kind of everything happens in USD and we're always going to migrate towards USD,
mm-hmm.
right? So anything that's not USD should go towards USD. And if
Okay.
that part of the transaction is in USD, we'll keep it to USD. So for this example, right, we're going to say, okay, well, the sold, the asking price is from North America. So let's actually put this like this. So this is USD. And then the buyer's region is in Europe. So this is in euros, right? So we need to bring this back into USD. Does that make sense? So
Yes.
what we're essentially saying is that the sold price in USD is always going to be the sold price in local currency times the Europe or whatever currency is. So the easy way to do this is like hard code the currency, right? And that's what we'll do in step one. And then we'll do some automation to go and get that currency and we'll have a new table. Does that make sense? Do you agree with that? I
Hard
feel
cryptocurrency. Sorry, what do you mean hard cryptocurrency?
so what I mean by that is like, okay, well, here, the sold price, right? We're going to call this in local. This is saying, okay, this person wants to sell it for 390,000 USD.
Mm-hmm.
And this person wants to buy 250,000 of euros because we're in the buyer's region of
So
Europe.
what's confusing me right now is that why is the currency say USD then? Should that be next to the asking price?
Yeah, sorry. So this should be asking price. So
Okay.
we're gonna have to do this on both. So we're asking. So this is what's hard about currencies. You need to kind of bring everything back to one local currency, and then kind of migrate it back to whatever that currency for that local person, right? So we're gonna have to translate the asking price into USD. Like for instance, here, if it's in Europe, it's in euro, but this is also in euro. But we both want to translate both of them to USD. Because what we work in is USD. We just want to know how much are we making on this deal in USD, even if for both of those people it's in euros. Does that make sense? I don't know if
Yeah.
in the chat, I feel like does that make sense for folks in the chat? We're essentially bringing to our local currency.
Okay.
So we're actually have to do the same formula twice. We're saying, okay, what is the asking price locally? Oh, this is always in USD though. Right? So actually, wait, I'm here, the asking price should always be in USD. Unless you have a local currency in which you need to put this in USD, or you can do that at the deal level. But we're going to assume that all the prices here are in USD. And just because I feel like I've lost everyone on this stream now,
Yeah, a little
I've
bit.
lost you as well.
Yeah.
Lisa, if you have problems rolling up the this specific, so we're going to assume that this side of the transaction is in USD, right? So all the items for sale. I know I'm going to get you, Victoria, back into
No,
getting
Lisa just added some context in the chat.
you manually convert to USD. Okay, great. So essentially here, asking price is always in USD, but the buyer might give us a quote in euros. And what we're wondering is what is that quote in USD? How much money are we making? Right? Yeah. So currencies and time zones are okay, but we're gonna get there. So we're gonna say transfer to sold price in USD is going to be a formula that says, okay, if buyer's region, and you can put this into like a variable, which is like, what is the quote in, if buyer's region is equal to North America, and this should be US, right? I'm excluding Canada, and I apologize for that. Actually, let's do this properly. Items for sale. The buyer's region and we need a currency for the, like, this is a lookup, right? So we need a currency. So first we're just going to say buyer's currency. And this is going to be at the deal level because I don't want to code it into the contact. Right? Does that make sense?
Yes.
I feel like I'm completely losing you, but we're going to
No,
get there.
I got it. Good. No, code this to the deal.
Okay. So we're saying this person could want, gets the quote in euros, USD, and I don't know what other CAD, right? So this person is saying, okay, whoops. This person is saying we are quoting in euros. So the local, this we know is 250,000 euros. Now we need a local price. So we need a USD price. Always when working with currency, bring it back to one currency you are familiar with. Do the calculations you need to do. And then whatever currency you wanted to bring it to later, go do that. That's my tip for anyone working with currencies. Always work with a local currency with who you're familiar with. And one. So normalize is what we're saying. So we're saying this is a formula. So we're going to take 250,000, the local price if times the exchange rate. So what is euro to USD? So it's 121. So that's saying 1 euro equals 121. So we do multiply by that. We're doing it manually for now. So 250,000 euros is going to be, 1.12 times USD.
Right, but that's
There's
only
an if.
Okay.
I'm trying a different way to explain ifs. We're saying only do that if the buyer's currency is not USD or is euro. So if buyer's currency, I don't feel like that was a better way of explaining it. So if buyer's currency,
I would say, yeah, I would say do USD here instead of euro, and then put an exclamation point in front so that if they ever worked with another currency.
Right.
Not, yeah, yes, exactly. Yes.
So we're saying do this. Otherwise, just give us the local price. Right?
Yeah.
So we don't have any other euros. We have one here. So let's give this euro. Right? So for Lisa, like if you want to get a local kind of like, okay, well, what is this tomorrow? You actually have a central place where you can update it, which is just right here. Right? If you want to update and say like, okay, it's 1.22 here. But a challenge of that, there's a question of what is that exclamation part? This says if buyer's currency, and that says is not. So if it's not USD, go get the sold price, multiply it by 1.21. Otherwise, if it's USD, go here.
So
right?
Airtable is similar to, exactly. So Airtable's like formulas are baby JavaScript. I feel like they're JavaScript based formulas. And in JavaScript, the exclamation point means not. So you can put it at the beginning of something to say like this is not true, or you can put it in before your exclamation point to say this does not equal.
Right. So this one, buyer's reach. So this is Europe, right? Which are the other ones? This one is USD. This one, we don't have a price. That's okay. This one is Europe. And okay, does that work properly? So North America. Did I do the right thing? So this one doesn't update. This one updates. Yeah, we're good to go.
Yeah, that looks right.
Okay. So now we have a local USD
you're getting ahead
price. Is there a way to link out to a live converter?
We're going to help.
But I do want to finish. Yeah. So I want to, yes, we will get to a live converter. And then, so let's kind of, okay. So now what we know is that so fee to seller, that's another problem that I'm seeing here. Revenue is the difference between sold price local minus fee to seller.
Ooh. how's that work? So that's why you're getting that one there.
Right. So fee to seller. Let's look at what this is. This is go to products, go to items for sale, look at fee to seller. What is fee to seller? Okay, this is the ask. So this should also be a roll up, right? So we're going to change that to a roll up because it's not a lookup, it's a roll up. What am I doing? Woo! What am I doing? It's been a long day. We're going to products. And then we're going to go seller, fee to seller. And I'm going to roll up the values. Some values. There we go. Save that. Boom. So revenue, this is in USD. So I should actually mark this. Sorry. We're going to have to contend with, currencies for the rest of the time. So revenue is not, so this is sold price local. So this now has to be sold price USD.
Got it. Okay, because it's apples to apples. Got it.
Yeah, exactly. So what did I call this? I called it.
Well, it's sold price USD. It's just.
Oh, did I mess it up?
No, you didn't. Airtable just pre-filled it with alphabetical.
Yeah, I said USD price.
Oh.
That's my bad. USD price. Boom. Okay, now you're actually looking at your profit margin on a USD to USD, right? So this is what you're saying, like, this is how much money we're making on this deal for that specific item. I'm sure some of these are no good. I hope you're not losing $68,000 on this deal. Okay. This actually looks pretty good, right? We've got paid, and we'll talk about invoicing if we have some time at the end. I do think that's like a good final step here. But I want to talk about currencies, right? So I'm going to get meta here for a moment. Pardon me. So right now, our currency is limited to saying, what currency do you want? We don't have additional information about each currency except, its name and what we have right here. So what we'd like to do is make a mapping almost of currency to their current exchange rate and then pull in that information to have the latest exchange rate, right? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Victoria, I'm sure that makes sense. Like, folks, does that make sense? So what we're saying is that we'd like to expand on the values that we have for each currency so that we can kind of have not only the name, but also the live exchange rate. And so whenever you think of like, okay, we have one value, we have the name, and we like to expand on the values that we track for, or the information that we track for each one of those values, you have to think of a new table. So what we're going to do is actually turn this into a linked record, into a currency table. So create a table called currency. Make that nice. We're on the stream. We don't want to allow linking to multiple records. Right?
Oh,
whoa. What's wrong?
No, I'm excited.
Oh, okay, good.
I don't know how this works.
Yeah. So now what we have is like, we're going to do exchange rate to USD. Right? And so now we're going to say, okay, we need a currency field.
Oh yeah.
And then we're going to get our existing. So it says for €1, I get 1.1 USD. For 1 USD, I get 1 USD. And now.
Question.
Yes, go ahead.
So what you're saying now is now we can pull that USD or so that currency into the deals table, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Let's do that first before asking a question.
I'm terrified of your question. Let's be real. So now when we have, where am I? No, I'm in deals.
Yeah. Deals.
Buyer's currency. What I'm saying, I can add another field here that is exchange rate to USD. Oh wait, what am I doing? Man, it's been a long day. So I'm going to look up, I'm going to go to the currency, a
Buyer's
buyer's currency, and then I'm going to go and get the exchange rate to USD. And now I have like that live value. So here, instead of the 1.21, I actually have a live value of exchange rate. So I can just say go times the exchange rate, right?
yes.
So now I have like, and so what this, the first thing that it does is like, let's say you add a new currency that is like CAD, right? And CAD, so CAD to USD is 0.78. There we go. And let's say we say like, okay, well, this deal, this guy quoted us, 827, but he actually quoted it in monopoly money, aka Canadian dollars, and that's worth way less, right? I don't need the if. You're totally right. That's a good point. We can actually remove the if because we have a live value
Oh, I love that.
for,
Yeah.
yeah, so we can actually remove the if. Nice catch there. Boom. Okay, a natural next step is like, okay, well, I want this to be live.
Wait, Aaron,
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Go ahead.
don't want it to be live, right? Because if you close a deal at a set exchange price, then you
You're
want
crushing
to
me.
you want to preserve that. So you're looking.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, Ethan, talking about Yu-Gi-Oh cards and Canadian money. That's hilarious.
They do though. I don't know if I have like cash, but it's true that Canadian money is very advanced.
I feel like American money is getting way more colorful, and it's just like it doesn't deserve the name greenback anymore. Like it's not green anymore.
Really? I'll show you some Canadian money next week. It's actually really like it's really intricate, and like
Okay.
you can see through it. It's pretty cool. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It's really yeah.
Well, so
Okay,
what I was trying to say was you want to lock in the price for your deal.
right.
That's all.
So, yes, but I have a solution for this. But I wasn't
Okay.
going to do it on the stream, but we can do it. So essentially, is that currency? I'm sorry for everyone on the stream. We were going down a deep hole here.
Okay. So
Currency.
let's get the currency rate, the live rate, and then we can figure out what the old rates were. Let's go where you were going first before addressing
Yeah,
that
sure,
question.
sure. So, how do we want to do this? The currency. Do we want to do? Do you want to do write a script? How do
What
we?
I
What is
From what I've heard from Airtable is that we have a new script marketplace,
right?
and it's where you can go and download scripts from that marketplace, which is where you can choose blocks. We have some preset scripts, and I think one of them is the currency
Oh,
converter.
right. Okay.
So wait, go back, not install.
Well, but it's in the options, no? I have one
Oh,
currency converter.
that's welcome to scripting block. But if you go, and maybe it's not part of the marketplace, but I do want to show this. I think we if you go down to the bottom, we might have
Here?
scripting. No. Oh, never mind.
No, we don't have a scripting marketplace just yet.
Oh, I thought we did. Never mind. I'm getting ahead of ourselves. So I'm
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
just
Okay.
so yeah, just go
Um,
to your examples instead. Oh,
that's okay. So we
I
want a
thought
currency converter.
yeah, we want a currency converter.
We're gonna have to change this a little bit, right?
Which is fine. That's
We
fine.
just
But
yeah,
it's a
we're
good
pros.
start.
We're pros. We got this.
We do. You got it.
Okay. So we're gonna go to currencies. So we're gonna
Even don't highlight that.
go. Oh my god. Okay. So then for each record in the currency, we want to go and get the exchange rate. So we need to go
Exactly.
and get let currencies equal table dot get records. Man, I haven't
Oh,
done this in a while. Select up no.
you want to get the
Uh,
field? Get field.
no, but I wanna map. So for every record in the
All right.
table, I
Yeah.
haven't done this in a while.
Okay.
Uh,
Close out of this really quickly. So it
yeah.
says spec conversion rate. So it says get the table, and then data is going to
Oh,
be
right.
okay. So
So
what
this is getting for base USD. It's getting all of
GBP
the rates. So let's just
right
run this.
right now it's just getting GBP.
No, because this is data.rate. So
Oh,
data will have multiple.
oh, perfect, perfect, perfect.
So let's just actually comment out this and just run this and see what happens. Oh, did I? Is it written different? Is it currencies? Oh, it's buyer's currency. We should change that to currencies. I'm sorry. I know, Lisa. You probably didn't expect to write code, but that's okay. We're gonna send you the script.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, um, oh, we need to output. So I need to console.log data.
There you go. You get the object USD.
Okay, we've got a bunch of them. So let's just go and get euro and CAD, right? So let's see if we have euro here somewhere. Euro right here.
Perfect.
This is saying that 0.28. So we're gonna have to divide 1 by this to get the one I've been doing. So I'll take care of that. And then we have CAD, which is 1.2. So that's great. And then we're saying, okay, we need to loop through every record in the currencies base, right?
In the currencies table, yeah.
So here we're gonna say
So
let.
what happened was in this original example, if you go,
Oh, right
if you
here.
if you control Z multiple times, because I think the one thing that you deleted that had the .gbp was important. So it says conversion rate. So it selected a single conversion rate. What we need
Oh,
to
okay.
do, what we need to do is filter for the specific conversion rate that we're looking for. So what
Mm-hmm.
you can do is comment out conversion rate. I just needed to see where it was before. And
Mm-hmm.
then replace conversion rate on line 22, output text conversion rate. On line 22, you want it to be a filter of this rates object.
The
So you want it to be,
filter.
so you want it, you want it to be
Yeah. So
rate.
let me walk through this. So we're saying let result go and get every single record,
Mhm.
right, in that, and then we're saying for each record in that table, go and update record async. Go to that record, and then
Mhm.
amount GBP. This is going to be
Our,
our. So this is we call this exchange rate to USD, right?
mhm.
And then here, whoops, we want a little bad boy like that. So go to exchange rate.usd.
Right. And so instead of conversion rate, what you want to do here is you want to have it called data dot rate. Nope, don't delete the whole thing. Just conversion rate. Data dot rates. And then do two brackets. No, not in filter. Go back to rates before the dot. So if you're going to use bracket notation, you don't use dots.
Right, right.
So
So
you
we're
want to remove,
saying go right. So go to rates
and then
and
so right, like so you could just write in here hard code CAD, right?
right,
But
but
what
we want this to be variable based on the value of the record we're looking at. So we
you
want the
got
name. I'm getting it
you
back. It's coming back. It's coming
You
back.
got it. You got it. You got it. So
So
you want it to be record.name.
record.name. It's like warming up, you know? So but we don't want to multiply. We just want that value. And we're gonna say
Right.
get 1 over.
Right. And so,
Can
okay.
we do that math? Are we able to? Yeah, we can do math here. So we're saying
Yes.
1 divided by the rate.
Yes.
And that's it. I think if we run this, it should work. And I've said that so many times.
Yes. Hold on. Let me plug up my computer.
Currency is not a table. No table matching. Oh, because I undid that, right?
No,
So
it's probably
no, no,
maybe
yeah, currencies.
you
No, because I
create.
just this is currencies.
Okay. And make sure create record async also is speaking to the same table.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think we have it now. Okay, that seems to have updated.
Yay!
Let me just make sure. Let's give this point, 10 or 2, and then let's run that.
Thanks,
Yeah. Okay.
Joey.
Boom. Hey, Joey. Is it success? Is it?
Yeah, I think
This is.
so.
Is it success? Yeah, I think we could do success.
Woo!
Oh no, my thing is it's on the side. It's on the side. Let me fix that. Let's do it again. We get more success again. And Joey, know that air horns are actually playing in my ears. I just can't get them on the stream, but I get air horns. Cool. So now you know what Lisa. What you can do is just run this code and a little you maybe once a day, right? Whenever you want, you can go ahead and run this code. It's going to get you the latest currency. Then it's going to update. And what's great about this is that wherever in your table you want to get a currency. So let's say this buyer is in euros and you want this table to be in USD. You just create a linked record to the currency. You create a lookup, and then you can have an asking price in USD. So this actually lets you localize all of your transactions wherever they happen, whether it's at the deal level or at the items for sale level. So whatever you want, you can do it. Another point from the chat, there's a question of like, could you run it every day? So you can do that via automations, right? With a view that's, specific to a certain time.
Pretty hacky right now, but
Yeah.
I think that it's a priority, or we're looking into it in terms of Airtable, because we want,
Right.
to make sure that that's a question that's a natural question once we do something like this. That's super cool. But just so you know, you can run scripts not only in the app's dashboard, but you can also run it from an automation if you'd like as well.
Yeah. So I want to quickly answer what you said, and then we'll maybe spend 10 minutes on like what are some upgrades here. But you mentioned like, okay, what if the deal is closed, right? So
Right.
When you think about it, a currency is live until it's not. So you can imagine like you have a table here that is the currency, and then you have like a latest, but then you could have a single select that is a date or a date field, and then you could look up the right currency for a deal closing date, right? So what I mean by that is you can create a linked record that is like a date and then latest. And so you just kind of get the right currency based on whether the deal is closed or not.
I think we could
Does
do
that make
something
sense?
on the deals table too, via an automation where it's like live. We have a live currency
Right.
price, and then we have a locked in price. And then
Totally.
through an automation, we can say, if I change this to closed one, an automation
Totally.
automatically creates a locked in deal price.
That makes
That
total
way,
sense.
yeah, that way, because you can easily run into Airtable record limits when you start saying like every day.
Right. Totally.
This is currency.
Yeah, because then you would have every day, 10. So what you can do is totally right. So just quickly, what you would do is, lock in rates. So when a record matches conditions, and it's that, go to the deals table, add condition when status stage is, closed one. Let's go and get one. And let's now create a locked in USD rate.
Yeah. So
Locked
Aaron's
in
creating
rate.
an automation, which on automate all things is definitely necessary. One of the things that you want to do is you want to test your automation so that Airtable brings in information. And then where it says test run successfully, you can see the values of what Airtable is bringing in from that automation after what you told it to look for. So from us saying when the status becomes closed one, now we have all of this information from that record that we can then use to go ahead and create an action on something.
Right. Yeah. So actually what's weird is like, we're just going to go and copy a field over, right? So we're just saying like, okay, when we move the closed locked, add the latest USD rate. So we're just going to update a record, which is the same record, which is kind of weird. We're going to update
It's weird, but it's my favorite thing.
So go to step 1, get that record ID, and then go into locked in rate and just input the rate from which should be buyer's currency. No,
No,
US
that's
locked in. No, shit.
USD price. USD price. Nope,
USD.
that's it. That's wrong. That's wrong. It's ask. Go back
Oh,
to your.
we can't add a lookup.
So we have to make it a roll up.
You can add a roll up.
You can add a roll up. You can't add a lookup right now.
Oh, okay. Okay, we
It
can do
is.
that.
Okay.
That makes sense though, because we know. But this
Yes.
should be fine. So we can just say, "But my God, people
When
on the
in
stream
doubt,
must."
just use roll ups. Is what what my mantra is.
So we're saying roll up the currency, and then, but we need. So wait, would that work? No, it won't work because it's gonna roll up. No, it is. It is. It is. It is. So we're
It's only
rolling up
rolling
the
up
exchange
one
rate.
thing. Yeah. It
Some
doesn't.
values. Man, you guys are so cool that you're still here.
Yeah.
I cannot believe that there are people who enjoy this as much as we do. It's so much fun. Okay, now we can use this. So let me go test the record again.
Test it again. Anytime you make changes to your record while you're setting up an automation, you always want to rerun your test. Otherwise, you're going to be dealing with stale data. It is something that trips up myself a lot when I'm working with automations.
Boom, locked in rate.
There you go. Run your test.
I'll run my test. I'm so confident. I don't run tests.
All right, there we go.
People want to see me in trouble on the stream. So auto number 5. Let's go. So closed 1. Let's go see. So what do we see one? Oh, because I haven't run the test here. Oh, did I?
Turn successfully. Go up. I don't know what auto number 5 is. Oh, yeah. What happened?
So
locked in rate from record ID of. Oh, because you're doing locked in rate to locked in rate. So instead that.
Oh, right. Yeah. Good thing you're here. I would have spent hours on it.
Put it together.
So currency, insert. There we go. Test again.
Every time you say currency,
test failed.
Currency, the hotspot. Could not parse number.
Oh, it's a currency field. So should I just do a number?
Try, but that's crazy.
Fingers crossed, folks. Fingers crossed.
No.
Oh, no. No, because I got to test again. No? Does that work?
Go to your roll up.
Go to my roll up. Is it because this is... Oh, I can just put it into a number. Let's just put it... This has to work.
This shouldn't matter.
And now... Test again. Oh, no.
So what's the field? That's new.
Oh.
Go to your currency field. What's your currency field say?
No, but I haven't updated the test. Let's just run that one more time.
Okay.
And then test again.
Bene. No.
Damn. Talk to me, Victoria.
Okay. I honestly don't know what's going on. Can you go back to your roll up?
Yeah. So I have the roll up here.
Oh, because it's the wrong field.
I'm putting it's not the right field. It's exchange rate.
No.
It's my bad.
No, you don't want exchange rate. You want you're trying to lock in a price right now. So whatever you want, whatever the price is, the USD price is the price you want to lock in.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Totally. Yeah. You're right. I mean, that makes sense. So let's just go asking price USD. So I was going to put in locked in rate, but you're saying why not just put the locked in price, and that's your final price?
Yes. Oh, but that also shouldn't matter. Sorry.
No, that was because I was putting the wrong field. This is my fault. I was putting a lookup, a linked record. This is all my fault. This should work. There we go.
Okay.
Now, Lisa, up to you. Someone's up to 2 a.m. in Israel. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
So now you can lock in to
Lisa, I love that. So yeah, I like what you were saying before about I completely went over my head that you're trying to lock in the rate. I think that's actually a way better data point to lock in than like
Yeah,
why
yeah.
final price that. So total due final rate.
And
We
I
were
think
just
we can make both of these currencies now. Let's try that. Let's do.
did I already say that whenever you say currency, I keep thinking of currency the hospital. One of my
What is
favorite
current? I
rappers.
have no idea what that is.
All right, hold on. I'll put the Spotify link in the chat.
So we want this to be a currency. And let's just do that one more time. Okay, test again. Hopefully this will parse. Yeah, that worked. Okay, so
There
we
we go.
match. Oh no, oh, I forgot to update the field. So here we're saying go and get the currency. So I want the roll up of the currency. Test again. Okay, so the number will work. Oh no, am I doing the same mistake again? What is the name of this field? Exchange rate. Exchange rate. Stop. I'm so sorry.
No worries.
Exchange rate. Insert. Test again. Thank God. Okay, final
Yeah.
exchange rate. Final rate. There we go. So now let's turn this on. That's what I usually forget. And what this is saying is that if you move a deal, let's say this one is closed, it's going to go ahead and run that automation to get you your final exchange rate for that specific deal. In this case, we don't have one because we don't have a currency. Let's get one with a currency, which is this right here. This one has one, right? So this
Yeah.
gets the 121 and it updates it so you know the date or the currency at which you close this deal. So now this like could be a number you add in your books. I think we can do another success here. I think that was another
That
one.
that's perfect.
Lisa, hopefully that solves that. So now whenever you move something into closed, it's going to go ahead and get your latest currency. So you can add that to your books. You can run every day, this automation to get the latest currency, and all of your deals that are not closed are going to auto update to the latest currency.
Perfect.
Some final parting words, and I'm sorry because I completely removed all the questions or didn't address all of the questions that you had so dutifully asked me. But I do want to quickly talk a little bit about invoicing and things like that. So the first thing I want to kind of bring to your attention is, I have a stream on this specifically around. So can you run the script via API requests? No, but if you if you have an API that updates information to your Airtable base that then runs the script, you could do it, right? So you can have something that but if you're gonna run a script that updates information into Airtable, you might as well just put your script in there. But if you are so inclined, you can run the automations kind of remotely by updating information into your base via the API. Okay. I wanted to just show you Page Designer.
Beautiful.
So let's imagine. Actually, let's take a. Do we have templates? Can we start from a template? No. One day. So let's say you have the sold price. You can add all of this information. Oh man, I'm so bad at Page Designer. Every time on the stream,
It's hard. Designer is really hard to do live.
yeah, like seller's region. You can customize all this. And all I want to show you is that you can then cycle through all of your deals, right? So if you have, let's say, a closed one deal. So let's add a grid view that is closed one. And we filter down to only show me where stage is closed one. And then we change this to only have closed one. You can then only have your deals invoices for each one of these, right? So now you have an invoice. You can print it out, send a PDF. You can add your logo. You can do all that good stuff. I can show you an example here, just as something that's a little more built out, where I use this to create thumbnails. So this is all of my streams.
Love that.
And then I have little thumbnail creator, right? So this takes the title, takes the live stream, and I could cycle through each one of my streams. So that's an example of how you could use it. So you can add a background, you can do all that good stuff. You're invoicing and then just add the numbers to it. So that's an example. And then from there, the world is your oyster. You can run apps to your heart's content.
Yes.
Anything else we haven't covered? I feel like this went
Good.
somewhere I didn't expect it to, but it was fun.
Yeah, it went really well.
Folks in the chat, anything we didn't cover? Parting words. This is where I go. You should subscribe and follow.
Smash that subscribe button.
Yeah, click the follow button. That way you get an email whenever I go live. This will be up on YouTube if you're watching on YouTube.
We covered how to transition when you're dealing with values into roll-ups so that you can sum versus get all of the values next to each other. So now you're kind of working with totals instead of working with mirror values. We also talked about how we wanted to turn different people that we were tracking, whether it was leads, whether it was team members or sales reps, all into a contacts table, because we're tracking the same information and then turn it into a field. And then we really spent the bulk of our time looking at, how can we accurately predict what our deal price is going to be, depending on, what the requested or buying price currency was in, which definitely took the bulk of our time, but was really, really fun to explore. And so we figured out, how do we set that up in Airtable? And then that once we have the format of how do we do this, how do we have a currency table, how do we then automate it? So the last part, the final mile of this was how do we lock in that price once we're getting that automatic currency? And, that was a lot to cover on it.
Yeah, that was great. I appreciate that was a great summary of everything we've done. So final words here, Lisa, I hope this was useful. Make sure, I'm going to share the base one more time, the link. That way, folks, you can grab that before you go. The script will be in there. Everything will be in there. And yeah, I love that this was another example where like how many CRMs that you can kind of build yourself that have this concept of, currency updating and things like that. But it takes work. That's real. Like you have to know all this stuff, so.
But I also want to say that this base was great when we got it.
It's true. That's true.
When we got it.
It was a great base. This was, I probably would say, the better bases we've seen on Automate All the Things. So Lisa, you had an amazing start. There was some there were some niche issues that we found. So
exactly, when we start getting into like commas and
right.
Like that's when you built a really great base, and we're really just like the 20% left of what we needed to do.
Totally. Yeah. I think the last thing I do want to kind of emphasize is that this can be a backend for a website, right? So like I have a bunch of videos on like how to turn Webflow, Airtable into Webflow websites. And so this actually serves very well as this, kind of like a backend. You've got all of your items for sale. This could be, the things you show on your website. You can have leads come in and they're attached to items or deals and things like that. So, a very good start. Do recommend kind of continuing with this. This is a really good base. I appreciate you bringing it to us, and hopefully we were useful. We'll be back next week. Final stream of the year. After that, we take vacation. And really appreciate all of you coming. Thank you so much, Victoria, for joining. These are so much fun. They never go where I expect them to. And I think that's part of the fun. So really appreciate it. And to everyone, thanks for joining. See you next week. Bye, y'all. Have a good one.